Politics Unplugged. I'm Ann Trujillo. A lot going on in Washington and in Colorado we need to talk about. First, at the state capitol, a big topic right now, sexual harassment, 200 pages worth of study, and we'll take a look at that and other things brewing at the Capitol with ColoradoPolitics.com's Marianne Goodland. And just days after saying any DACA deal was dead, President Trump announced he wants to send National Guard troops to the border with Mexico, and we're going to hear what Colorado Congressman Jared Polis thinks of those developments and more. But first, we found out a lawsuit filed Wednesday could keep six-term Republican Congressman Doug Lamborn off the primary ballot. The suit claims hundreds of signatures gathered by Lamborn's campaign are invalid because the people who gathered them did not meet Colorado's residency requirements, claiming several signature collectors were actually residents of Michigan, another from Texas. Well, joining us to talk about this topic and much more is former Republican State Representative Amy Stevens, also Blair Miller of the DenverChannel.com. Thank you both for being here. So Lamborn's held this seat since 2007. Is his political future on the line here?
I think it could be. I think if they do find, indeed, what you said, that's not going to bode well for him. I think it's not just about, everyone rushes to say, well, that's Owen Hill. It's Owen Hill's people, or at least two people gave to Owen Hill. Well, I think it's probably deeper than that, but to me what it suggests is that we have to look at the 2009 law that I actually was part of passing in terms of signature gatherers. We probably are, the rules have been right to the line. I think we have to take a good look again at that, but I do think it spells trouble for Doug, just on timing issues too for him. So if he doesn't, this could be bad news for Doug Lamborn after so many years.
I think it's interesting. That's probably the most contested Republican Congress race that we're going to see this year. And, you know, I think that primary is going to be really interesting, especially if Lamborn doesn't make the ballot. It was already going to be interesting, but if that happens, it's going to be quite the primary, I guess.
Well, definitely that. I think the 6th Congressional District is one that people are talking about a lot, that we need to be watching. But let's talk about the governor's race right now. It is so crowded. There's a lot of really strong candidates running for governor right now. How do you rise above the fray here? How do you stand out in a crowd like this?
I think that's what everybody's still trying to figure out a little bit. I mean, we've seen the polls out from Magellan Strategies over the past couple of months talking about how most of these candidates, people still are pretty undecided on. We're seeing Jared Polis and Kerry Kennedy sort of rise to the top among Democrats, and Walker Stapleton, I think, continues to be in the slight lead among Republicans. But I think the overall message here is still, like, there's a lot of time for voters to decide who they want to pick.
There is. There really is on this, and I think likability factor was very interesting in the Magellan. I was shocked, actually. Now, with Walker, again, we have some signature issues, brought up by the Robinson campaign. I think he could probably weather that. He could probably get to the assembly, because he still has time. He could do it the day before and say, and I think would do very well, probably at the state assembly, and then we'll get on the ballot. Barry Farah is a new entrant, kind of out of Colorado Springs. I don't view him, again, we have to look at who's the candidate that's going to pull unaffiliateds. And I'm shocked in the Magellan polling that Cynthia Kaufman wasn't higher among unaffils. Now, I think, again, she is trying to get the legs under the campaign. So I'm not quick to say that's all, it's a done deal. But clearly Walker Stapleton's also doing well.
And you mentioned the word likability. Is that more of an issue this year than ever? I mean, we used to just look at a politician's credentials more than anything else.
And I think, you know, the 2016 election sort of set a new bar for what people are looking for in candidates. And, you know, we're in those same polls, they asked about, you know, topics and things that people are interested in, and I think that's going to be one of the big discussions over the next few months is, do people gravitate towards a candidate or towards issues, and are these candidates going to sort of focus on certain issues like immigration among Republicans?
Well, and you think, is that a big issue? Is that a big issue for Republicans, immigration? What are the issues?
I think that's the big battle right now, like among people, talking heads who say this is the biggest issue, and among voters, I think that there might be a divide there, but
there could be. I would suggest, Magellan would tell you, the polling would suggest that immigration for Republicans is huge, but we just saw another poll that suggested health care is still on the front burner, and Republicans haven't addressed it. So we, I think, are going to sort that out and how it's framed, how the issues also are framed. Again, we also go back to gun issues. That is going to rally a certain portion of the base. So I think we'll see in the next few months how that shapes out.
Let's talk about Washington distractions right now. Stormy Daniels, maybe gun issues, Russia. Do you think that, Amy, as a Republican, do you think that would keep some voters at home because they just don't want to deal with, I mean, would that affect our races here, I guess, is really my question?
No, I don't. I think in terms of when we say, well, there's going to be a blue sweep everywhere, I really do think this is about, I don't know that Washington will play as much as people going, what's going on here? Should I get up and get out, fill out my ballot? What should I do? I still think, as of last month, Democrats are still outpacing Republicans in terms of voter registration. I think we have got to, we're coming up. But we
I think unaffiliated now has surpassed both.
Unaffiliated have, and so we have we have a third or whatever. We've got a lot of ground to cover, and reaching unaffiliateds is going to be the big
key,
issue.
right? Because if you're known for being far to the left or far to the right, that's got to be a battle in and of itself.
Right. And I think that's where some of the local issues are going to come into stronger play here as we get closer to the primary and to the overall election. Is that we're obviously this national dialogue is going to dominate the conversation. I think mostly because of how Congress and the White House is running at the moment, but I think there's a lot of local issues specific to Colorado that people, Democrat, unaffiliated, Republican, are going to want to look to their governor for, because we've seen how much Hickenlooper has, played into people's minds over the past, several years, and how much blame he gets, good or bad, for certain things. And I think voters are going to want to look to their new governor for some of those things.
Well, this will be an exciting year to see who is elected to that job this year. Amy Stevens, Blair Miller, thank you both for your insight. We'll be right back.